Alright, that's Frank right in front of us. We just spent about 15 minutes chatting before we left. He has been working so hard this year to be able to make friends with Kit, and he has finally been successful, so yay for that. In fact, Kit let him give him all the pets he wanted to before we left, so felt like that was a real bonus. And this is it, guys. Here's the thing I really want to say. Probably the most important thing I'll say in this video, but we'll see. This feels like the beginning of summer travels. This is the end of Quartzsite and mid to southern Arizona. This is where the adventure begins, where we see new things, where we have new experiences, where we get to learn from them, and where we get to take you along for the ride. So I'm so glad that you're here with me. Truly I am. I really appreciate you taking your time to watch my videos.
Wake up with the sun in our eyes. Sally forth, no need for goodbyes. Journey calls, let's roll the dice. Every mile a new surprise.
And so today, I'm not going to show you a lot of this drive because a fair amount of it you've seen before. Our first stop is going to be at Lake Havasu Walmart. And after that, we're going to head to Kingman, Arizona. Now, if we see anything interesting to stop at along the way, or if I feel like there is something I absolutely feel like I have to say, then, you know, of course I'll be doing that along the way as well. This is going to make me crazy. The strap for my TV hanging down. There we go. I don't know why it came down behind me. And we got to make 2 stops before we get out of Quartzsite. The first one is going to be to get rid of trash, and the second one is going to be to get water. And I wasn't going to get water, but when I looked this morning, I'm down to half a tank, so I'm going to go ahead and fill it up. And then we'll really be done with the Quartzsite season. And happy to be. So, Henry seems to think it's 76 degrees out already. That seems like way warmer than it felt like to me. Although here's an interesting thing. I have been feeling cooler temperature-wise for the last week or so. Like, if I go to bed and it's still 78 degrees inside the bedroom, it doesn't feel hot to me. Not quite sure what's going on with that. But I'm going to keep an eye on it as time moves forward. So I've got a fair number of stuff planned over the next couple of days. We'll see how it all works out. And my plans are very loose because, of course, I've got all summer to travel. So I'm super excited about that. Now, I think I can still get water here at the LTVA, although I'm not 100% sure that's true, because today is April 16th, and it is 8:45 in the morning, so I'm not getting an early start. I was actually ready to go more than an hour ago, but I wanted to say goodbye to Frank. And Kit needed a walk, so we did all of that stuff. And once again, just in case you've never been to Quartzsite before, or to La Posa South, straight ahead of me here, those are the water fill spigots, and there are 4 more across the road on the other side of the road. And then as we're coming around this corner and down through this wash, to the left over here before we cross the road is the dump station. We're not going to bother with that today. And then straight ahead of us you can see the blue bins. That's the trash. We are going to drop off a bunch of trash though. And it looks like this guy in the bighorn is pulling out for the end of the season as well. So,
head toward US 95 South.
If you notice, there are not all that many people that are still here. I mean, there's still kind of more than I would expect. The season has officially ended as of yesterday. That's when my LTVA pass expired. I didn't realize that all I was thinking about yesterday was the fact that I needed to finish my taxes. So I thought about April 15th in that context, but not in any other. All right, let me dump the trash and I will be right back. More people are still here than I kind of would have expected. And honestly, I think part of that is just the fact that there's been very little in the way of oversight here this year. This guy's usually gone long before now. Of course, it does kind of look like he's packing up and fixing to. That was the guy on the right with the HDT that I was talking about. HDT is heavy duty truck, like a tractor trailer truck. Just in case you're not familiar. And I gotta tell you, this is worthy. I've started using the mocha pot to make my coffee, and been doing that for quite 2 months now. And it makes a delicious cup of coffee, but the pot remains hot for a while and I can't clean it out. And when I was in Yuma a couple of weeks ago, I went to Dutch Brothers for maybe the first time and had an espresso, triple shot espresso with oat milk, and it was just absolutely delicious. So I started thinking about it yesterday afternoon, and I brewed myself a pot of mocha pot coffee. It's hard to say. And then I stuck that in the refrigerator overnight, and I made my own oat milk, which was ridiculously easy. I did 3 tablespoons of Bob's Red Mill protein oats to 1 cup of water, and used the high-speed blender. Probably could have done it in the immersion blender. I might try that next time because that's one less thing to have to clean. No, because you have to strain it. You do have to strain it. So do it in the high-speed blender and then strain it through a fine mesh sleeve into another jar, stuck that in the refrigerator. Look at that tricycle. That's kind of cool. Oh, and the shuttle bus that had been parked up here for so long is gone now too. I want to ask the volunteer. So I just got the skinny. $75, which will get you from now until next season, which will be September 15th. So it'll end on September 14th. It only applies to motorized vehicles, no trailers. And it allows you to camp 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off during that season. But it gives you access to the water, dump, and trash for 365 days of the year if you buy both passes. So now we know the rest of the story. I'm glad I asked, because I never had been truly clear about that. I had thought it was like $40, and I thought you could just stay all summer, but you can't. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And you gotta wonder how much they're actually policing that, because, you know, even the volunteer staff has been pretty short. So, but if you are desperate, and or if you want to use the dump and water and trash, I mean, $75 for that period of time is not bad, but I don't want to be in Quartzsite all summer long. It's way too hot for that. Okay, let's back up to the oat milk. So the basic recipe is 2 to 3 tablespoons of oats. I used Bob's Red Mill protein oats because I like to get a good shot of protein first thing in the morning. And a cup of water. But I also added about almost a teaspoon, no, about a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, probably about a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon, and about a teaspoon and a half of maple syrup. So it made it a little bit sweeter. I might try it without the maple syrup next time, but boy, is it delicious. And I just whizzed all of that up in my blender, and then I poured it through a strainer into a jar. I did not mix my coffee together last night, and I'm glad I didn't, because the oat milk had separated a little bit this morning. So I just shook it up in the jar, and then I already had my coffee stored in this cup. So I put a big 2 square inch ice cube in it, added my oat milk, stirred it up, and it's delicious. I also added my collagen peptides to the oat milk last night. Next time I will do that, I'll stir them in with the coffee instead, because I might have lost some of that in the straining process. I'm not quite sure. So that's something for me to think about. If you're not using collagen peptides, no big deal. But I put them in when I made the oat milk. Alright, say goodbye to Quartzsite. Or say hello to Quartzsite from this end. But we will be saying goodbye to Quartzsite before too long. I am going to get water before I leave town. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that at RV Boondocks down here on Kuhn Street. And I'm going to pay for water. Why am I paying for water? Because it means I don't have to get a hose out. That's fine. So I'm going to go run down there and get water. And then we're going to say goodbye to Quartzsite. How about that, Ken? How about that? Bunch of dirt bikers out for the day, I guess. Propane, $2.89. Glad to have the trash gone now. It was getting stinky. And that bag of trash got super heavy too. I think it must weigh 15, maybe 20 pounds. And I wonder if they're going to stay open all season, all summer long here too. I think I'll ask them. I'm going to go ahead and top up my propane. It probably won't take much, but then it'll be full and I won't have to think about that for a while, since I'm going to be stopping here anyway. So Boondocks is the newest game in town. They have been the cheapest for propane, and along with RV Lifestyles, they do not charge an upcharge for using a credit card. So, are they open or not? I'm not sure. They might not be open. I don't see any cars here or anything. Propane hours 8 to 5. Oh, I don't see anybody rushing over. So let's just swing around here and check the water hose. We might have out-clevered ourselves here. Got one hose on here, so hopefully it's still operational. I'm going to check before I bother doing anything else. Alright, well, I don't see anybody around. The water turned on, but I kind of feel like I'd be stealing, so I guess I'll go up to RV Pit Stop, or no, RV Relief. Also on the way out of town, so that's just going to make it take a little bit longer to get out of town here today, but that's okay. I am just excited to be going somewhere. So as it stands right now, we're going to not get to Lake Havasu until probably about 11 or 11:15 by the time we get there to Walmart. So I might end up stopping in Parker and making breakfast. We'll see how this goes. Because it's going to be probably another 20-25 minutes before I actually get on the road. What I don't want to do is start eating out. Just because it's expedient. Which is also part of the reason I made the coffee with oat milk, because that gives me a little bit of protein and a little more satiety than just drinking coffee with collagen. And I was able to make it iced, which took away the problem of having a hot pot to have to clean this morning. So kind of nice, my kitchen's all cleaned up. And, the other thing that's happened over the past few days is I have rearranged how I'm storing stuff in my kitchen, so that basically when I go to bed at night, my kitchen is in drive ready mode. Everything's already put away, the counters are wiped down. I don't have to do anything in the morning. So that's actually pretty cool. It's making me feel more peaceful to have even less clutter. So for example, I used to keep my spray bottles with water and soap and water and vinegar on the counter when I'm parked and I'm camping for a few days. And when I did this reset a couple of days ago, I just went ahead and put them away. And I've been putting them away ever since. I don't know how good a view you're getting of the kitchen. You can probably see it. Yeah, so I used to also keep my soda stream on the counter when I was parked. And part of what really got me doing this was the fact that I was cleaning the kitchen, deep cleaning it, and it was like moderately greasy all along the side of the soda stream that was closest to the stove. And I wasn't happy about that, so I cleaned it all up, and then I realized I could rearrange the cabinet underneath of the sink and be able to fit the soda stream there so it could just stay there all the time and be used in that location without having to do anything else with it. Wow, RV Pit Stop says its propane is now $2.19 and they are closed for the season. I wonder if RV Relief is going to be closed as well. We'll find out here in just a minute. Well, they got their propane sign sitting out front, so maybe not closed. Oh. No, that's haircuts. That's different. Nope, they're closed. All right. Well, I'm going to figure out where to get water someplace. Haven't had to do that for a long time. We'll figure it out. Well, the good news is that means I'm getting out of Quartzsite without having to have one more stop. So this is it. This is officially the end of the Quartzsite season.